Jeff, thank you for coming down to see us today. We're at the fantastic Hereford Business Centre, which we've got our little office in for the moment. Which
Lovely location.
Yeah, and brilliant broadband speed, which is the key. Jeff, you've been our Rowlinson ref for
about 6 years.
Yeah. And Rowlinson, just if you'd like to give us a bit of background.
Yeah, Rowlinson are a company based in Stockport near Manchester. We've been in business for just over 80 years. We predominantly made knitwear in the past, although in the last few years we've expanded our range a little into sweatshirts and polo shirts as well, mainly for schools. Although our passion is still knitwear, we're finding probably about 60% of our sales now are sweatshirts and polo shirts, surprisingly. So we do a very popular range of a woodbank sweatshirt and polo shirt, mainly I suppose for primary school, and then alongside that 3 different types of knitwear, 2 of which I have here. These are all manufactured abroad, unfortunately, nowadays.
But do you want to tell us about the facilities you use abroad?
Yeah, very much so. We have a very tight control over our overseas facilities. We have an overseas director who used to work for Courtaulds in the past, Ken Edgar. Courtaulds were, I suppose very much in sort of 60s and 70s were very, very well known for manufacturing for garments and for fibre and for fabrics, really. The Courtauld brand name we purchased from Courtaulds a few years ago, and we use now on our acrylic knitwear, where Courtauld used to actually be the name of a fibre as such. Now it's just a brand name.
Okay.
So yeah, with our polo shirts we buy them from one source, which is a company in the Philippines. With our sweatshirts we buy again from one source, which is a company in China that makes our fabric. Our cotton knitwear and our cotton acrylic blend knitwear both come from a factory in Bangladesh, and again from one source. So we have very tight rein over things like QC, quality control. We have a lot of say in manufacturing standards and also health and safety standards within the factories themselves. So obviously we make sure that there's no children working in any of the factories. Everybody is of an employable age, really, as we would expect over in the UK here. But even things like fire safety standards and all that sort of thing, we audit the factories ourselves regularly. We have our own customers as well, going in there and giving us sort of the green light on the factories as well.
And so your director for production, they'll be over there. How often?
Well, he's based actually in Cambodia. Our overseas director. We got him an apartment in Cambodia, and he basically will flip from factory to factory on announced and on unannounced visits as well.
And that's really important, unannounced, isn't it?
Very much so. Yeah. So they can't just prepare everything ready for him arriving.
Yes. He'll turn up literally on the door that morning.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's superb.
Yeah.
Very, very good working relationship with each of the factories, particularly with the factory, I suppose, in Bangladesh where the knitwear's made, and we're their only customer. So everything is sort of, nothing is too much trouble for them, whether it be dyeing a new colour or whether it be developing a fabric or whatever else we need to put in place. That they work with us on these things. There's very much a partnership involved there.
And that's the key. That's the same as we feel with Rowlinson and with all our schoolwear suppliers, that it has to be a partnership. We have to work together on things. And something very exciting that I'm really passionate about happened at Rowlinson last year, didn't it? Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, very much so. We've always been family owned. We've always been owned by the Rowlinson family itself. A number of years ago, our head, if you like, Kevin Rowlinson, unfortunately died of leukemia. And I think it's been on our minds probably from that sort of time till last year, really, about keeping the future of our company safe. Yes. I'd say we've been going for a long time. So our managing director Donald Moore instigated an employee ownership scheme last year, which he's obviously worked through, and we're very proud to say that we became employee owned a few months ago. So there's basically a trust in place now within our business now, which controls I think about 53% of our company's business.
It's the lion's share.
Yeah, the lion's share. So we have the say in whatever happens. Whether we decide to expand in the future, whether we decide to go into new lines, or whether we just decide to stay where we are and just be the best at what we do. We've got a great control over it now. We're in a position now where none of our competitors, I'm sure some of them will be eyeing us enviously because we do get stronger and bigger every year. None of them now are in a position where they can come in and take us out of the equation, if you like, come in and buy us.
Yeah.
We're absolutely safeguarded, and that's great for not only for, I think, for the market, because there's a lot of customers like yourself who can still, you know, continue to buy from Rowlinson going forward. But also for our own staff.
Yes.
You know, we've got people who've been there since they left school, you know, in the 40s and 50s now. So, you know, it's great to safeguard all that for them as well, really.
And that has safeguarded everyone's future for your colleagues, and also in the trade, that there are still, you know, different suppliers, because for us as retailers it's important to have a mix of different suppliers in the trade. You don't want to see, for argument's sake, the Google thing, whereas, you know, that Google have 95% of the market share.
Absolutely. And this has been really good. It's been taken on board really well by the staff. I think, you know, because everybody sort of feels this little bit of extra ownership, if you like. You know, there's productivity increases and all that sort of thing. So it's all very, very good for the business, really.
And it's brilliant for us to be working with guys like you that are sort of, you know, forward thinking, and looking after their not only the supply chain, the people that manufacture the product for you guys, but also the people that work for you in the UK as well. We sell
about 2 million garments a year now across the UK. We've a handful of overseas customers as well, but the vast majority is UK. And of those 2 million, we embroider about 1 million of them.
So 50% is embroidered. Gracious me. And do you still embroider up in Manchester?
Absolutely, yes. Our embroidery facilities in our warehouse in Stockport. So, and that's obviously through the summer, particularly at our busiest times, running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, but again, we've got, you know, the staff they're retained all year around. We've always got business keeping them going. We have schemes to make sure that there's embroidery work for them all year, as well as warehousing and the like. So yeah, all very, very, very tightly managed, and we'd like to think runs on a fairly slick basis.
It always seems to, certainly from our point of view as a customer, when we order something, you know, if you say it's going to arrive on that date, it arrives on that date. And that's all you can ask for a customer. Well, there are key things. One, you know, for us, it's key that the product is sourced and manufactured ethically. It's key that we deal with people that we like. It's key that the product is of good quality, because it's important for school uniform that it can be washed and washed and washed and worn, and that's shown by how many garments we have that are faulty. It's negligible compared to the amount that we buy from you. And it's also important that the price is fair as well, so that the customer in the UK is paying a fair price that enables everyone in the supply chain to have a fair living. You know, you don't want to be buying something for... if you're buying a polo shirt for £1 in the UK, you know that people along the way are suffering. It's a no-brainer. So, you know, it's got to be a fair price. So
we've been involved in various initiatives out with the factories that we work with, and as I say, we work very, very closely. If we feel at any point where we're working with somebody who doesn't adhere or isn't prepared to work at the same standards that we are, then more often than not we move.
And that's the way it's got to be. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you for your time today, and lovely to see you. And hopefully we'll come up and see you in Manchester very soon.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.